and no one can refute them.
Because they're, yeah, I know.
I
know. I mean, he has a lot of dead friends.
I should have roasted you.
Yes, you're not done. I have no doubt. But anyway, because of his accomplishments, we could either get like a litany of all the wonderful things he's done that he's been applauded for, which is a lot, or I could ask him, what's the craziest experience you've had on a bike?
Legally or illegally?
Your call.
Okay, the most exciting thing, I think, when I was 17, I was in the Royal Air Force doing my national service, and we all, 17, 18-year-olds, we all had motorcycles, and we would roar around the countryside like maniacs. And there was a guy in the barracks, in our barracks. He was a real old guy. He was like 25, and he was married, and he had a diploma, and he had a piece of black shadow. And he was the envy of every. I had a 350 matches trials bike, rigid frame, did about 60 miles an hour. So one night we were down at the local pub, and we were kicking tires, and he said, "Would you like to ride it?" I said, "Oh yeah." So, you know, I'm in a narrow lane about 8 foot wide, no helmet, no gold, nothing. I get on the Vincent and I go through the gears, and wow, 60 miles and it was easy. So I turned around and I said, I gotta get some sticks. So I wound it up, got in fourth gear, and it had that big 5-inch speedometer, and I watched it go to 100 miles an hour. Oh, and my eyes were streaming, and the road was narrow, and I come back in the pub car park with a big old grin on my face, and he said, "You did it, didn't you?" "Yeah, I'm a ton up boy now." I always remember that. That was fantastic to do 100 miles an hour. So that was one of the most sanest things I've done.
Not the most sanest thing.
One of the most sensible things.
I feel like it's there's some obligation.
Well,
if someone's dumb enough to give you a bike like that.
Well, I've never had a real job. People say, you know, what have you done? I say, well, I've never had a real job. I've always ridden motorbikes, so that's not a job.
Right.
That's entertainment.
Well, so okay, here's the next question. So, what is the hardest event you ever did? The one that made you think, what have I gotten myself into?
Oh God, that's easy. 1965, I went to the Isle of Man to do the International 6 Days Trial, which is the Motorcycle Olympics. And you have to leave the motorcycle out all night in a compound. You're not allowed to work on it, don't allow to cover it up. And it has to start within 1 minute, or you lose miles. So, first day went pretty good. The second day, they had a hurricane in the British South. I think Hurricane Betsy, I think it's the first time they've had a hurricane since William the Conqueror. And suddenly, this little island was a bog. I mean, the mud was so deep, and the ruts were deep. And
you were in Florida?
No. So anyway, went back to the hotel where the team was based. There's an old Victorian hotel. I thought, God, it's cold in here. Oh yeah, the boiler's broken. So there was no heat and no hot water, and I was soaked to the skin, wet gloves, wet boots, wet socks, and then the next morning I had to get out of bed and put on wet socks, wet boots, wet helmet, wet gloves. The most miserable time, 40 degrees, and then you had to get on your motorcycle. I look forward to get on the motorcycle to warm up. So after the second day, they hadn't fixed the damn boiler, so I borrowed a raincoat and walked down to the town, went to the public baths and soaked and had the bath. And luckily, a couple of days later, the motorbike broke, so I was put out of misery. But that was awful. If you've ever had to put wet riding gear on and get on a motorcycle that's muddy and gritty, and the clutch is gritty and the throttle's gritty, it's like, what the heck am I doing this for?
I've had that happen on the Motogiro.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Oh yeah, you rode Motogiro. You were the first crazy woman to do it.
No, I was the first woman of any type.
Well, who taught you to that one?
that was an accident. I'm really not
you-
kidding. It
you
was
were
absolutely an
not a
accident.
juror.
No, what happened was, we were, I've been involved with Ducati for many years, and I have a Ducati Owners Club. Somehow, all this passion for machines has turned into helping other people enjoy them as well. So I did a lot of things to do that, and one of the things I did was I put together a group of people to go to the Isle of Man. And, which is not really a natural habitat for Ducati, but occasionally they do okay there. So anyway, we were supposed to go, and it was the year of the Mad Cow thing where they shut the place down. And Ducati said, well, we don't, they didn't know what to do with us. I mean, we had all these people, everybody was ready to go on this big vacation. And they said, well, we're starting up, we're revitalizing or renewing whatever, this race called the MotoGiro d'Italia, which is for those who have never heard of it, it's a very, very hard event where you do,